Suppose you need to write a research report, perhaps to outline a psychology study that you've completed. You first need to decide which information to include in each section of the report. That is, you need to plan the sections of a research report: the title, the abstract, the introduction and literature review, the method, the results, and the discussion. Now, by now, you probably appreciate the main contents of an abstract, introduction, method, results, and discussion. So most of this material is straightforward, but I thought I'd mention a few subtleties. Now, usually the best way to learn how to write reports is to read as many journal articles as possible, at least 10 to 20. You automatically learn the contents of each section, but the contents of each section can vary and may depend on the journal, the author, or the design of the study. So just when you thought you learned all the rules on how to write a report, someone tells you these rules were really a bit of a mirage and frequently violated in journals. To illustrate, consider the introduction and literature review first. For example, some authors like to outline the aim and method in the first couple of paragraphs of their report. Otherwise, the literature review can be hard to understand. But other authors won't outline the aim and method at the beginning of their report, especially if the paper is quite short. Furthermore, some authors will summarise the method towards the end of the introduction or literature review, whereas other authors might not summarise the method. Personally, I do prefer to outline the study, the aim and method, at the beginning of the introduction and lit review, and then outline the method towards the end. But not everyone else does. The method section also varies across papers. Now, the method section usually comprises about 3 subsections, such as participants, measures, and procedures. But this second subsection is often called by different names. It could be measures, apparatus, or materials, for example. In particular, if the study is a survey, writers will typically include a subsection called measures, in which all the scales and the questionnaire are described. If the researchers utilise more technical equipment to conduct the study, they might include a subsection called apparatus. If the researchers utilise other materials instead of like apparatus or measures, they might include a subsection called materials. But all these sections, measures, apparatus, or materials, describe activities that were completed before the participants arrived, whereas in contrast, the section called procedures describes activities that unfolded after participants arrived. That is, the procedures delineate the events that participants experienced. Now, in addition, some method sections include a subsection called design, but this section is included only when the design is complex, such as if each participant is assigned to several teaching methods, but each in a different order. But for simpler studies, this section is usually unnecessary and can sort of be implied by the procedures section. Importantly, in the method section, you can't include every possible detail, such as, for example, whether participants were wearing black shoes or brown shoes, unless that was the focus of the study. Include only the details that you feel could affect the results, or the details that you feel tend to be reported in similar studies. Now, the discussion can also vary across papers. So typically, authors will first summarise the aim, method, and results of the study in the first, say, couple of paragraphs of the discussion. And next they'll discuss each result in turn. Now, some authors, when they discuss each result, will also discuss alternative explanations of the result, such as spurious variables, the opposite direction of causality, or flawed measures. But some authors instead discuss all these sort of complications towards the end of the discussion, often in a subsection called Limitations in Future Research. So to help you with your assignment, I'd like you to record all the key arguments or information you plan to include. That is, construct a series of dot or bullet points, each specifying one argument or piece of information. One bullet point, for example, might read, the number of participants was 150. Another bullet point might read, the aim of this study was to examine whether carrots enhance intelligence, or whatever. And your first task is then to sort these bullet points into the sections of a report in which they belong. And your second task is then to continue to sort these bullet points to ensure they're presented in the most logical order. Now, there's no correct or incorrect order, but your aim is merely to ensure the order of bullet points is as logical as possible.